It's like the highway across the water is what we are.
Many years ago, people would come down for pastime, would come down and watch the boat come in. You're very curious about who had been away. I wonder where they've been, and who's going off today. I wonder where they're going.
I'm going to say when we were about 8 years old, we had cut off shorts. We would come down to the activity of this waterfront, which was a place where we could ask the tourists that were on the boat to throw a coin down, and the hooligans, as we called ourselves, would dive into the water and get the coin and retrieve the coin and wave it up to them that we got your quarter that you threw to us.
They would wait for the passengers on the top deck or on any deck throwing coins off. And they would dive for the coins, and as soon as they got a coin, they were all excited, and they'd go back with quite a pocket full, and that was their ice cream for the week.
We used to get the management a little upset because we kept getting in the way of the vessels. And that was one of the things, and they would chase us off. And we would say, don't come back, But we would always be back. We are an isolated island. We're out to sea. But if you ever hear weather forecasts, they'll always bring up Nantucket. Well, we got to see if the boats are running because of the weather. It's all like that. But I think overall, we've been down for three weeks straight once when the winter, and we didn't have any boats. And they had to air shuttle supplies over to us. So that's kind of unique too.
The last classic steamboat was the beloved Nobska. The Nobska was part of Nantucket in the sense that she symbolized to the generation of that period of the old Nantucket before things started to change here in the 1960s. The whistle was an important part of other community activities. For example, if there was a new bride if there'd been a wedding that weekend and the couple were going off on their honeymoon, the boat would blow the whistle all the way to Brant Point in honor of the newlyweds. And on New Year's Eve, they would blow the whistle at midnight. So the whistle was always part of the island. It was like secondary to the town clock.
I love today, I can still hear the whistle of the boat. I live quite a ways away from here, but I hear it in the morning. I hear it go out at 6:30.
When the captain would pull the cord, the condensation would be forced out and it would be a psst. And then that beautiful organ note, it was almost like a wave it sent out, a three-dimensional wave.
I started working as captain around 1986, and so I spent probably 12 years on the Eagle alone, and then various other boats in the winter, but mostly big boats. And around 1989, 90, I started working, on fast ferries. The speed on these vessels changes everything. I mean, the fact that we're doing almost 3 times the speed as the slow boats, and so in terms of dealing with traffic and whatnot, there are many more challenges. There are many trips that are easy, that are, you could consider driving a bus, but there's a lot going on at the same time that we deal with because we're used to it. I mean, the engineering part of it's one. Passengers, there's a lot of issues, lunch counter stuff, dock issues in terms of, is the equipment working? We have all kinds of different services we provide, including, we bring prisoners back and forth, sick people, everything, all kinds of issues that happen on a trip-by-trip basis. So, yes, you get that every once in a while. You'll get a nice trip where, You know, you barely remember what happened. You just, the next thing you know, you're in Hyannis, but there's usually stuff going on.
At least once a week during the school year. There's usually like one off-island game, I would say, every week.
If we didn't have the fast ferries right now, we would not be able to field schedules and be able to compete. It's that simple. I mean, the fast ferries make a difference from the standpoint of us being able to get to the mainland for games and for other teams to get here.
When I first started, I remember the captains were they were a big part of the community almost. So you would hear stories about the captains from the 50s and 60s with a real connection to the island. The island was much smaller then, but you know, I feel connected. I know a lot of people that go back and forth. I really consider this sort of a community service job in a way. I mean, because I know so many people and I know how much people depend on the service.
Yeah, when the fast boat came into being, it just made things easier for people to get back and forth.
The high speed, it certainly makes the walk to Hyannis a whole lot shorter.
Especially this morning one, they're all working guys. There'll probably be 400 guys coming off this boat that are over here doing construction, working at the hospital, you know, just all over. School teachers we pick up.
Working here facilitate interacting with the young, the old, and you will hear stories from like the older persons who have been living here for many years. Sometimes they might be taking the boat, they're in early, we may sit and talk. So, you know, it gives the opportunity, one working here, to feel a part of it by interacting, you know, with the community at large as they move back and forth on the boats.
Well, the thing is everybody's traveling. It's not just the workers. The first boat over from Hyannis in the morning is primarily workers, but every single boat is filled with all sorts of different people.
It does surprise me. Surprises me to see the number of people going back and forth. Even though I've been here for some time, I'm still being surprised.
When we were talking about building a bigger boat, just even talking about it, people were all up in arms and very upset. And what actually ended up happening was, now that we have the bigger boat, actually people are saying, some of the same people are saying, why didn't we build a bigger boat? Because, you know, we're sold out sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And now, once they started the fast boats, my kids didn't want to go on the slow boat. You know, we'd take a car over and they'd say, oh, Dad, we're going to go over on the fast boat. You can take the car over. Wrong. We're all going on the slow boat.